welcome to Just Birds Row. Today I'm going to do a VR video to Honey Lou Wilson about the unicorn decks. So I only have a couple, and they weren't purchased in 2023, so I hope that counts. But decks that you just really wanted and they were hard to come by, out of print decks, and so forth. So the first one I have is the Tarot of Love. Why I wanted this, I don't know. It was because it was published in 1990, and I have a thing for 1990. I have the book. You can purchase the book just about anywhere online, at least for about $20. And here's the lovely deck. And what I paid for this, see, I wasn't willing to pay $100 for this at the time that I wanted it. And I've had this for years now. And I finally found it on eBay for very little money. I think it was like $35 at the time. Maybe it was 40, I'm not sure. But about $40 total. So maybe it was 35 and then $5 shipping or something at that time. It still has the little white book intact and all of that. And what I loved the most was the backings on this deck. Just utterly loved the deck. I don't use the deck. I've only used it in readings a couple of times ever, but juicy. I may have to pull it out and actually use it because it's not going anywhere. You have to forgive me. Oh, it's a snow day today. We're all snowed in, and the snow's not going to let up until the evening, so I'm out shoveling, and I do Halloween in January. Who cares? Right? Who cares? The Seekers, Destiny, Climax. At one point, I was going to sell this deck, but I decided not to. And I put it all back together. Like I said, I don't read with this, but I may have to now that I have it in my hands. I'm sure y'all have probably seen this over and over again, right? This is the way that things go. Very simple though, as far as aesthetically. You got the lightnings, the Ace of Blossoms, the King of Nuggets, nuggets, the King of Rods. Now that I have it in my hands, I just want to use it. It still shuffles really well, but aesthetically, it's so pretty. Maybe I'll leave it out on the table so I can do a reading with it for February. Let's see. Next, another deck that I just had to have because this was published in 1972. And it's the Jesus deck. And I just wanted it for my collection. And this deck was produced by a church. It was actually to help teach children. They have 2 blank cards here. The backings are nothing to brag about or write home about. However, the deck is kind of really funky, and it was by the memento of the Lutheran hour bringing Christ to the nations, right? So it has 4, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So it has the 4 chapters of the gospel and the ages and stages of Jesus is what this teaches. But it was to teach the children in Bible study, and what they were teaching was, how to use your intuition and equate it to the Bible. So you have Luke and the angels, and you have I believe this is supposed to be the ram's head. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. However, the falcon, the phoenix, whatnot. All of the symbolism is in this deck. If I can get it in the right, and is it just upside down? My backwards. Um, but it's all about the walk of Jesus's life here on earth and up into the crucifixion. So they have the eagle. I think this is Gabriel, but I'm not sure. I haven't really got into it too much, but their depiction of the devil is in pink. And their Jesus depiction is horrible. So you have the lion, the rainbow, the sun. The instructions basically teach the kids how to use numerology, the colors, and their intuition, and equate it to the gospel, right? And look, they even have the astrologers in this deck. So to all the Christians out there that are angry, get mad at the Lutheran Church. I just bought their product. Whatever. And it's actually very nice teachings for children to practice intuition and trusting and equating it to, their faith-based system. It's kind of rad, if you ask me. It's just really cool to me. The conspiracy. And they have scripture on each card, which is, they were looking for a way to arrest Jesus by some trick and have him put to death by his own people. Chapter 14, verse 1. So I don't know, it's so colorful, and I just wanted it for my collection, right? This is a deck that my children are not afraid of. Not that they're really afraid of anything as far as cards are concerned. They're not involved, They like to get readings, but that's about it. They want to know, where's my money? How's my money going to be? And the deck itself is, is beautiful. And I enjoy it. And I liked, the little booklet is very thorough. Like, they have this little book, but this is where you get into the teachings by Reverend Ralph M. Moore. It's the introduction to the Jesus deck, the 54 cards in the deck, methods of interpreting the cards, right? Color, ways to use the cards, games with the Jesus deck, inspirational solitaire, gospel bridge, peace, heart of marks, I believe, witness, the 4 books, go seek, and spiritual concentration, interpretation of each card, Luke, Matthew, Mark, John, and the Jokers, back design of the cards, and the biblical resources, which they have their emblem here and what it represents and means as far as esoteric. Call it what you want, that's exactly what it is. So I appreciate this deck. It's not going anywhere. I love the vibrancy of the colors, and for a deck that was published in 1972, it is in really great condition. So that was a unicorn deck for me, because I wasn't willing to pay the money. I wait until somebody's willing to part with their deck for a reasonable cost, one that I'm willing to pay. And my final unicorn deck is, I will show you. And this was a gift to me. So, the Dirty Tarot, right? It was out of print, and it was printed in 2001, and Dory Midnight no longer sold the deck. So, the person, my boyfriend at the time, went out of his way to find this deck, and he had emailed the creator. He wanted to gift it to me for Christmas. However, he couldn't, because it didn't get there until like January or February. I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't for Christmas, but it was intended as so. And the fact that he got his hands on it and he emailed her and was just like, come on, you got to have an extra one or a used one or anything in your basement. You know, he was an artist, so he knew exactly what goes on when you produce a product, and you always have leftovers. So she parted with it, and she parted with it for $50. You know, the cost of it when it was in production, she didn't charge him anything more, nothing less. And I was so pleased. I mean, it was the nicest, kindest gift that anyone has ever given to me. And, well, I won't read the little love note in there that stays in there. It's just staring at me. So this deck is just really special. I hardly ever read with it, though. I used to, but not anymore. They are fun, you know, fun readings that you can get. But she has all the elements in here, and you find all of the information out in her little book. So this deck will never leave. It's my favorite. I just have a thing for cowboy boots. I wear them all the time. So this deck, it just means so much to me, right? And the readings with it, like I said, they're fun, they're quirky, and it's nice to have a deck that is different and that speaks to you. And I'll show you. Ooh, the Lucky Penny and Hot Wheels. Her little intro. But then she breaks down all the cards, you know. January 28th is when I received it in 2017. So how to read the cards and special categories: the body, the home, food, transportation, transportation. I didn't know what to, can't see, folks. Food, sacred space, clothes, transformation, and altered states, sovereign, and souvenir, and lucky omen. And then she gets into, you know, let's just look up the lucky penny since it's staring at me. And it says, lucky you, unexpected blessings, gifts from the universe, left at your doorstep. Open up to it. It is goodness. You are rich, pockets full, finding shiny things along your way. Pass it on. So what a lovely little message to receive. Anyhow, those are my 3 unicorn decks, and I'm not going to part with any of them. Bye!